Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Chive podcast. This is the last podcast of the year, podcast number 95. They said we wouldn't make it, Bob.
They still should be right. They should be.
We've been trying to get one guest on the show for a while. He's a very busy man, and he is here to do the last podcast of the year. Merry Christmas. Tim League is here. He's the co-founder of the wildly popular Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. And first of all, thank you for coming.
No problem. My
pleasure. You co-founded the Alamo Drafthouse.
Correct, yes.
How does that feel? Do you ever pinch yourself in the morning?
You know, I think back to those days, and people think maybe I had a master plan that we were going to go and we were going to do all these things. No, we actually had a really... I'm assuming we can swear on this.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We had a shitty plan. We didn't have any plan at all. So we just we were just going to open up this single screen theater, and that was our end game. We didn't think about it. Just so like forces in the world pushed us to do more, and so I shouldn't say that. I should say that I had a great master plan.
No, plans are for fools. We didn't have one.
We say like all the best things that have come from the Chive. Like we had no idea.
But you say you didn't have a plan. I wonder, did you have the rudiments of the plan? Did you have the accidental successful elements? Did you know, okay, we want to serve beer, we want to make this unique experience where you can get served food, and want to make it a place for like more fans, because it's a true place for fans of cinema to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the basic building blocks were there.
There you go. Fill us in on what were your basic building blocks?
Well, it starts out that I was in a job. I was working for Shell Oil in Bakersfield, California, which that's like not to like shit on Bakersfield. But,
please do. I've driven through there.
Or the oil industry. You know?
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I realized when I took the job, it wasn't something I wanted to retire from 40 years later.
Yeah.
So after about a year or so, I started making all these weird exit strategies, and on my way to work there was an abandoned movie theater, and one day there was a for lease sign on that movie theater. I'm 23, and I just said screw it, and a week later I signed the lease. Didn't know anything about the business at all, and really my first move was to go down to LA to a magazine kiosk and buy Film Journal International and Box Office Magazine, which is our trade magazines. I don't know how to do it.
I was gonna say, you have no idea what you're doing. You're just like getting into this ambitiously, wild. But the funny thing is that in Bakersfield, California, we're in Austin now, that wasn't immediately a success. In fact, I don't think it ever was. You had some alcohol. You couldn't get alcohol, right? Like the permits or something.
Yeah, it was, well, as you can tell, I've already told you it was a half-baked plan. And so we did have this idea that we would serve alcohol, but I'm 23. I was not a very natty dresser, so I just went into the Alcoholic Beverage Commission wearing kind of a dirty T-shirt because I was doing renovation on the space. I was like, I want a liquor license.
Yeah,
and immediately I'm 100% sure that it was just raw age discrimination. There's like no way in hell this kid deserves a liquor license, and they were probably right. But so when we rebooted and started up here in Austin, we hired a middle-aged white guy in a suit to represent us for like $1,000, like an alcoholic beverage license specialist. And so I've outsourced, to the middle-aged
just
in order to get the job done.
Yes. Yeah, like he knows the governor. He'll get things.
When did you start feeling like, okay, I've got this clocked? What was the transition from 23-year-old you trying to get a liquor license to figuring out the business, and where you thought you could find a place within that business?
I mean, this starts with the assertion that I feel internally that I know what I'm doing now. I'm still, the game has changed. I'm still making it up as I go along. But I think maybe a couple months into operation with the new theater, like there were all sorts of things when we moved to Austin to start it up that we didn't know how to do. So,
I was going to talk, like, even I don't know how you deliver food. You have servers deliver great food and beer, beverage, an amazing menu, but you do it without ever interfering with the movie. It's pitch black. I don't know how you even start to look at that system to implement something like that, because it seems like a wildly ambitious undertaking to be like, we're going to serve food and beverages. We're not going to take away 1 ounce from the movie.
Yeah, do the servers have to take a vision test when they walk at night? Or are they blindfolded and then they have to know their way around?
Yeah, I mean, not to interrupt, but like, how do you even go about, like, for example, just to like, you had this idea, you want to serve beer and, and make this a good theater going experience, which obviously is so important nowadays when you can do everything at your house. And that's what I love about what you do. Like, I will go to a shitty movie just because I want that experience. And that to me is a game-changing thing. But like, how do you start? Like, how do you just be like, all right, guys, I have no idea what we're doing, but hey, I want food, good food, and then we're going to deliver it. Like, did you work through that process? Does that take years?
I think this is actually where my old career, I was an engineer. And so that's all it really is logical problem solving and like breaking a big problem into small little digestible bits.
Yeah.
And I still do that to this day. So I think I never really thought of it in terms of an impossible task. We just sort of broke it down into little steps.
Yeah.
And over the years, we've tried to introduce different ways, but even today, it's still just a piece of paper and a pen. It used to be. We've evolved. It used to be a pencil, and now it's a pen. So we've done that in 20 years.
Less can go wrong. You know, less moving parts. The simplicity is brilliant. Yeah.
But you've got the lights underneath the table that you can see.
That took me modifications like that, mm-hmm. And we have our servers now download this application called. It's basically a website, but Run P. So it's a great service. I shouldn't be shilling for somebody else's company, but but yeah, if you're going to watch a movie and you intend to drink beer at a movie, this tells you the exact perfect opportunity to take a leak. So it's amazing. Like you won't miss any of the major battles or plot points or anything like that.
Oh my
so we
God.
use that to try to get best practices for where we should come and drop a check if we have to, things like that.
They are always so good about that. And I never even, like, that's subliminal. I never even thought about that. Yeah. It's never, like, right in the middle of a battle or some big, lightsaber scene. No spoilers. No.
Oh, yes, by the way.
No spoilers. He hasn't seen the new Star Wars. Neither of you two have. I promise not to say anything.
I'm seeing it later on this afternoon. And if you guys were to have spoiled that for me, I probably would have walked out immediately and just said goodbye to you forever.
No, I mean, and I wouldn't have felt bad because I'd have been like, Timmy came in and he hadn't previewed the movie at one of his many movie theaters yet. Like when you didn't have time to pop in Star Wars early.
Yeah, I've got no excuse, but I meant to. But today is the day.
That's amazing. You haven't seen Star Wars yet. Do you preview the movies?
Yes, when I can.
Yeah.
So I'll go to film festivals and check out stuff in advance, or sometimes they'll send us an early advance copy if we're going to be doing promotional work on it. But I think they understood that we were going to be playing Rogue One, so they didn't let us have the opportunity to see it early. So.
And on the flip side of that, you have your movie theater is a draw. For example, we got a call from CBS Films 3 months ago, and they said, well, we want to do this screening at Alamo Drafthouse with you and TheCHIVE, and we're going to bring Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges in if you guys are, if we can make this happen.
I know.
And I'm like, well, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
And that is a very inflexive model where you've created so much gravity here. And certainly Hell or High Water is a very South and Southwestern style film that they knew what market they wanted to hit. But to call us and say, we'd like to do this with TheCHIVE and Alamo, or we won't bring our 2 A-list movie stars to the area, has got to be such a flattering thing for you. And you hosted a great premiere, by the way.
That evening was really interesting because, as you guys probably know, Chris Pine we served him way too much alcohol. So
he didn't take a picture with us. He was like, I'm sorry, because he was all disheveled looking. I mean, he was still beautiful.
Yes, of course.
The most beautiful disheveled person, but yeah.
I was getting these weird gestures from his personal manager. Like on one side, his personal manager is like, "Shut this down, shut it down," because he's smoking in the theater and he's like really off color. And then the publicist for the film on the other side is like, "Keep it rolling, keep going."
Any press is good press for such a small
There's very
film.
conflicting signals from either side of the auditorium.
Yeah, we met up with him later that evening for about 5 minutes before we realized he was incoherent. He's like, "Jack, come on, we're gonna do this thing about the." I'm like, "You are having a bad idea right now." I was like, "What you just suggested to me, Chris, will get you arrested in this city or any other city." And so I left.
I just love, like, you got this like heat of the sun. People go to Austin. They come to Austin just for this movie-going experience because, like, in LA, no one really wants to go see the premiere. No one really gives a shit. Like Bruce Campbell said that. He came in here and he goes, "I come here because people give a damn about the movie. People actually care about the experience. They are like, thrilled. They're in line waiting out the door." In LA, it's kind of like, "Oh, yeah, another premiere, another actor. You know?
And that lends itself to you protecting the integrity of the movie-going experience, which is what you've been a torchbearer for over the years, particularly with if you text, you'll get a warning, and if you do it again, you'll get kicked out of the theater. You want to respect, and we'll get to some of the things you've done recently, which we've freaking made you a hero of the world. But
well, I love that, by the way. So I just went to, again, Star Wars, and they've done this before where they'll play a recording. I don't know if it's an actor or a real recording, and it's like someone who is just bitching about how Alamo treated me this way, and I got kicked out because I was on my fucking cell phone. and it's like transcribed and everything, and at the end you're like, you're welcome, thanks, Alamo. And like just picking on the fact that's like, that's right, you get one strike and then you are out. This is for people who fucking love movies.
And it's for anybody. And that's what the question I want to ask you. This is a hard-hitting question. Have you kicked Madonna out of it?
No.
Why is that rumor all over Austin that you kicked Madonna out of an Alamo?
So I forget what the name of the movie was. It was a premiere at the New York Film Festival.
Yeah.
It might have been Birth of a Nation. 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave. That's right. So she was texting during the movie, and she was, called out for it, and she has actually a real texting addiction. She had the same issue happen to her at Hamilton, got called out, not allowed to visit backstage because it was texting during the performance. So I just sort of, the news first came out about 12 Years a Slave, and so I sort of flippantly said that she's banned for life until she apologizes. And then I boarded a plane, and it was just on Twitter. I was like, oh, nothing ever happens on Twitter. I'm just going to just drop this out there. And then somehow, because it's only 140 characters, the story got twisted that I personally pulled her out of her seat and kicked her out of the Alamo and won't let her come back in, which, exploded out there. And then I landed, and I was told to not tweet before I get on an airplane.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
Did you learn your lesson?
People believe what they want to believe.
Now, Bob, you were telling me something this morning about, was it which cinema owner?
Wait, yeah, we were talking about, I forget, is it something Aaron? He's AMC's.
Adam Aaron, yeah.
Adam Aaron, yeah, and he wants to make it acceptable, I guess, to text during movies. But you take a hard line on this. Again, I'm totally with you on this, where it's like, how do you immerse yourself truly into a movie if you don't take that 2 hours out of your life to say, no, this is our escape. We're here for this movie. If you can't take 2 hours, wait till it comes out on, I'm going to say DVD. That's till you can stream it. Yeah, whatever it is.
You have to explain what that means. Yeah, people listen to this in 10 years.
Yeah, I'm already outdated. Yeah, but I really, I like that you're keeping a pretty, that. This is what it is. Yeah, and
can you talk about that a little bit? What is this love that you have for the integrity of the theater that is?
Did you just
so
grow
famous?
up watching every movie and you're just like a cinephile?
Yeah.
And you're just...
I think maybe I have some personality disorders that make it more problematic for me. I'm a really impatient person, and I do go to the movies to just get lost in the story and be absorbed by that. And so I don't believe that you can successfully multitask. If you were to open up your laptop, your phone, and check on something, you've just missed a couple minutes of the movie.
Absolutely.
And so, I also think it's kind of condescending to when people say, "Oh, well, young people, that's just how they are. They're gonna text." And I mean, everybody has this sort of problem that's developing, this sort of addiction to being on your phone. But I think that people that really love movies, they're going to want to have this experience and not be distracted by other people. So I don't think it is as a age issue. I just think it's just like a common civil behavior issue.
I agree. And I mean, it's just polite to everybody else there too. Because if you see that glowing screen and, even if you don't, it's on silent or whatever, you're drawn to it.
Yeah.
And it's taking you out of the moment. I just love all the subtle nuances that you have. And for example, the little, the vignettes. I talk about this because I think you've made
maybe one of my favorite
this
parts.
social phenomenon out of a thing that generally is where you go and you quietly go to a movie theater and then you walk away. But I feel like there's this whole social thing you've made out of it. But even as small as these little videos, it'll be so Star Wars, and then it'll be homemade movies or these terrible indie films of a Star Wars.
Yeah, they're often relevant to the movie you're about to see.
Yes.
How did that come about for you? Has that been in the record books all along, or is it?
It was from the beginning.
Yeah.
it's really when we started to develop the idea for the theater, this idea of no cell phones. Texting wasn't really a thing back then. But also, I looked at what I hated about going to the movies, and one of them was, paying $10 going to see a movie, but then being bombarded with ads. And I equated the cinema experience to be like a premium paid cable option where you're buying your way out of these ads.
Yeah.
Right? And so
I like it.
I shouldn't have to put up with that. And so from day one, we never run advertisements. We just said no to that revenue stream. And then I was the original curator of that pre-show content, but it was in the early days, it was a VCR, and I would manually pop new tapes in, so you'd get this little eject button sign, and I'd put something else new. It's evolved since then.
That is fascinating, because you'd think you get strong-armed by the studios. Like, no, this is our movie. We want you to run this trailer for the next movie. Did you ever get strong-armed?
Yeah, we're still getting strong-armed today. Yeah. So we're trying to develop a relationship with the studios to play on our terms. There's a movie out that just came out, and you might know it by the reviews. It was 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, called Collateral Beauty. This new Will Smith movie. Got some really wonderful
I know.
reviews.
Shout out to Edward Norton, who was a guest on our podcast 2 weeks ago.
That's fun.
So we get pressure by the studio to say, you guys need to be playing the Collateral Beauty trailer. And it's like, no, we don't. That is not what we're going to do. We'll play maybe one of your movie trailers for something we like that we're going to get behind down the road, but you're never going to get us to play that trailer.
And I think the points are going to break your way, because more and more, I think advertisers have to trust that you know your audience better than they do.
Right.
And we've always been saying that, but I think even now, when people come to us to advertise with TheCHIVE, we're like, look, we have this idea. I know you're going to hate it, but you're either going to do it our way or the highway. And 2 years ago, we get laughed out of the table. And now it's not because we have more clout in the industry. It's because we're entering a world of passionate niches now. If Facebook owns the world and Instagram owns the world, that makes TheCHIVE more important. That makes Alamo Drafthouse more important than ever, because you've curated this audience. So now when you're getting strong-armed, are you feeling less of it or more of it?
It's less these days.
I believe that.
We're showing results on the things that we care about, and now they know we're going to really deliver on things like La La Land and Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we're going to back the hell off of Collateral Beauty, because we don't want to present that to our customers. We can smell it.
And I believe
no, seriously.
Proof's in the pudding. Try to get tickets to La La Land at South Lamar 3 times.
Can't
do it.
My wife insists we're going to see it soon.
But we're not. You can't get in.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. Where do you see Alamo Drafthouse in the future? Do you have a 30,000-foot view of where you want to take it?
I do, to a certain extent. There's some things, some non-profitable ventures that I've started over the years. We started.
We're all about that.
It's like research. It's the research lab.
You got to try. You got to try. You're gonna fail a lot.
Yeah, 5 years of losses, and then maybe 6 years is going to be the gold. So I like this aspect of what we do, which is we started a small film distribution business, and that really for me drives growing the company, because we can take smaller movies, documentaries, weirdo films from all over the globe, foreign language films, and by our own footprint provide an audience for those movies. My own tastes are pretty weird when it comes to movies, and if I can hypnotize or indoctrinate enough crazy people across the country to support these movies, then I would consider that a job well done. So we're going to continue to expand. We've got 25 theaters now, and we've got a path to get up to maybe 50 theaters by 2019. And we'll take if the wheels haven't come off the bus, then maybe we'll keep rolling.
Do you find it easy to scale right now, or is it every location becomes a new headache?
Yeah.
Well, they're very big and complicated and expensive. We just opened up in Brooklyn, and I signed the lease on that deal 5.5 years ago. So San Francisco took 18 months to get out of plan review with the city. So they're not that easy to get out of the ground. So you have to be relatively patient about it.
But when they come, it's like one of those things. And I said, like, when I go back home to Indiana, it's like my parents, we used to watch films at all the theaters back there. And I'm like, hey, you want to go watch a film while you're back? I'm like, No, I don't. I'm so spoiled now. Like once you have it, it's like a heroin addiction. You know, you're never gonna get that. Anything but that rush is gonna seem underwhelming after that. Like there's
funny.
nothing like that.
Yeah, and Justine upstairs would say the same thing. You have your parrot heads who won't go anywhere else. You know, really they have to go.
You're spoiled.
And yeah, like you've done so well that you have people who won't go anywhere else. And I by the way, what you're saying about your mini distribution model for, I mean, films that a lot of people haven't heard of, that machine has always been broken. And so just even trying to pioneer that space and clock it is not a small thing that you're doing. Mm-hmm. So what Tim was talking about, you know, and just now is an undertaking many have tried and failed at.
Yeah, myself included. But I have faith.
Wait, the Birdman, I forget the full title of Birdman, you know, the big hit last year.
Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman. Like I first heard about that. Was that through that was something different? You just special screening, you saw it early? Because you had heard and talked about it in one of those preliminary things before the movie, like I put my stamp on this, I love it.
I saw that at Telluride Film Festival, and so I recorded a little video outside of the theater immediately after seeing it, and then we started getting on the train to help promote it. And that's like it's a tangential exercise, so it's like smaller movies like that. That I mean, it ended up not being a very small movie, right? But at the time, it's a weird movie that
I'd never heard about it.
Yeah,
until
so we get behind movies that are outside of the big tent poles, and we call them Drafthouse Recommends. So if I like them or the core group of programmers like them, then we'll give it extra special attention.
Yeah.
And isn't that the thing you're doing, your own promotional machine, and that's where the studio kind of has to trust you?
Correct. Yes. We'll continue to annoy them with movies, you know, like Ben-Hur and Collateral Beauty, you know. But with another Birdman comes up, then we'll be there for them.
Birdman 2. It's ripe for a sequel. Yeah. I was curious. We talk about you know, just being a social event, a scene. But like Master Pancake, I'd never done one of those, for example. It's kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 with real comedians. It's fucking hilarious, by the way. I saw The Notebook, and I never will be able to watch The Notebook the same again. It was ruined after that, but in a beautiful way. But like everything from, you know, the sing-alongs, the dance parties, like where does that all come from? Like how did you decide, like it's not just a movie, it can be a quote along or whatever, you know, some random thing. Like did you come up with this or?
You know, origin of ideas is always difficult because, you know, you lose track of where they came from.
I like to. Yes. Yeah, no, it's
I did it all. It was all my big brain right here.
It was all me. Oh, screw those other people. No.
I think it's just keeping your receptors open. Yeah. So, you know, we listen to people on social media now. It used to be just the old good old fashioned actually listening with your ears to your customers. Some of those have been through staff. Some of them have been mine. But then, you know, we synthesize them and they evolve over time. Like the very first time we did that kind of movie mocking exercise, it's very different than what the show is now, and they've been doing it for some 15 years at that theater. So they've sort of refined their art and are continuously improving
They even wedge in like at clips. For example, there's a clip in The Notebook where they lie on the road. And they're just lying on the road like, oh my God, it's late at night, and what if a car came? And then they cut to the scene from Back to the Future right when the tire tracks light on fire. It was just so seamlessly wedged in. I fucking died. It was so brilliant and like I just love what you got going on there, man.
Yeah, to elaborate on that, who curates the one-off enterprises where, like tonight, for example, I could go see Star Wars, but I could also go see Die Hard. Like, who's in charge of putting the right film that is maybe 10 or 20 years old in front of the audience? And I again, also sold out. Can I go to Die Hard tonight? Tried. Yeah. But who's in charge of that?
It's a pretty decentralized network. You know, we do some things from the head office here in Austin, and there's maybe about 4 or 5 programmers, promoters here in Austin that, you know, put their heads together and say, okay, we're going to do this everywhere. But then every city has a creative manager, and that person has a lot of autonomy. Our social media, for better or for worse, is divided. So San Francisco has their own social. We have one for Austin here. New York has their own. So they're really just talking to the people that might be going and engaging in that theater. So yeah, we hire obsessive movie freaks that are out there, and they have this combination of being able to be a good host and have good taste.
Yeah.
So we're always on the lookout for that position.
Taste curators.
That's good. Well, it takes some creativity and some trust in the people that you hire, which we have none here. So that's really fascinating. But it's really cool. You could have, like, before the Masters, you could have a Bill Murray-a-thon with Caddyshack,
Absolutely.
And it brings different demographics
Do you
into
even
the theater.
like, I feel like, aren't there live events too? Like, well, the debates is a bad example, but like, or like the Super Bowl or something where it's like actually happening. Do you ever have like live screenings?
We
of
do
things?
sometimes. We used to do more sports, but over the years I've gotten a number of cease and desists, and so I've become a much less punk rock in my my attitude towards this programming. So I would love, if anybody from the Super Bowl is listening, we would love to support your content. We did
More
successfully
eyes.
at one time.
Yeah.
It's really, I kind of look at the theater as sort of, if anything you can do within the walls with an AV connection and a microphone, so it doesn't have to be movies. We're always liking to try out different ways you can make an entertaining experience.
My bachelor party, remember? You guys threw that for me.
Yeah.
I played GoldenEye on the big screen at Alamo off of Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
best.
Super Mario Kart.
Yes.
We also,
yeah.
which was amazing. Then living a childhood dream. We also just had our Christmas party
Yes.
at your bar.
And that's another thing too, is you have bars at like almost all your locations, it seems, at least the ones I've been to. And they're really fantastic. And even like the subtle, you got like the karaoke rooms upstairs, and they're all themed. Like there's like a Twilight room, there's like a zombie apocalypse room, and they're all different designs. Like just everything about it, man. It's just such a fun environment. It's like a playground for adults and dorks.
But for kids too.
Yeah, and for kids too. Yeah, but
yeah. Let's not forget that.
Let's not forget. Goddamn, let's not forget those kids,
Still
guys.
making GNPG movies out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you couldn't tell, we're pretty happy to talk to you, Tim.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in. We wanted to go back. Did you go to Rice University?
I did.
Is that in Houston? Mm-hmm. Nice place there.
Houston or Rice? Yeah, I guess they're both. Don't visit in the summertime, but other than that, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Were you? What was your collegiate life? I don't think you don't. Were you a frat guy? Were you a engineering nut? Were you like who were you in college?
Yeah.
It's kind of a jackass, really.
So right where you should be. That's where everybody should be at that point.
Yeah, Rice has this interesting policy where they make you sign something when you come in that you will never start a fraternity. So there's no fraternities allowed at Rice, but they have this sort of English model of residential colleges that supply that network. So you're assigned arbitrarily a residential college, and that's your social construct for the first year, and it stays with you for your entire career there. I was an engineer. They encourage you to get, if you can, to get 2 different degrees. So I got a mechanical engineering degree and an art and art history degree, which shows kind of this internal war that I've always had. And by the end of the 4 years, I realized, late in my second semester of my junior year, I realized I had made a catastrophic error in judgment. And I dropped out of engineering for a week, and I told my mom, it's like, I can't do this. I see the path in front of me, and my head's going to explode. I can't do this. And then a week later, every single human being I knew said, you're a total idiot. You've already done all the hard work. Just coast it out and make a decision later. And I'm kind of glad I did in a way, but I knew that I wasn't going to do that forever.
Wow. So you stuck with it. You're encouraged to be a double major there when you walk in. I wasn't encouraged to do anything in my college. Liberal arts.
Yeah.
Theater major.
Yeah, I'm a theater major too. I'm a double. I did telecommunications. That was our version of a theater or a film program out there.
Yeah.
So I thought this is smart. I'm in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah, I didn't have a backup option. My parents just always thought I was an idiot, and everyone was like,
"Yeah, you're hopeless."
Yeah, like this. Yeah. No, you should get back into.
Keep dreaming. Can't wait till the bottom falls out and come crying home to mama. Yeah.
It was great though, because I have that Aunt Terry, that was like.
sarcastic,
Christmas Aunt Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're always like, so John, how's it going out in LA? How's that acting thing going? And you're just like that's the Christmas thing every year. Yeah. But it was nice to, the 60s.
You're right.
Like, how's that acting thing going? I was like, I'm on the cover of Business Week.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you don't ever get to be Christmas Aunt Terry. It's got to feel good, to become who you want to become within, without selling out. But I is there anything else outside? Do you live, eat, sleep, and breathe Alamo, or is there anything?
Yeah, like what's a passion outside of just?
Are you
movies?
engulfed in this?
For many, many, many years, I was completely and 100% engulfed. I think I was a much more interesting human being when I was in my 20s before I embarked upon this path. I had other interests.
Yeah.
Lately, I have taken up the hobby of beekeeping. So that's, outside
you're
the norm.
keeping bees?
Yes, I'm keeping bees.
In Austin?
Yeah.
Where's a damn good place to keep bees, by the way. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your bee. When did you because you went online and you got the suit first, didn't you?
Well, not really. So I credit my wife because I was at this random dinner where you're just set at a long picnic table and you're talking with people you don't know. And somebody across the table happened to bring up the idea that he kept bees, and I was completely captivated, and I just asked him a ton of questions, and my wife obviously took note of that, and so she bought me like the empty hive for Christmas last year, and then that's where it stopped. Then I had to actually go online at that point and figure out what it meant and how you start.
Did you bring in bees from the internet? Did you have them delivered?
I went up to Round Rock Honey.
Okay.
And I bought what's called a nucleus hive, which is a queen and about 4 frames of brood with workers and drones. And so I drove my car up there, and I was completely freaked out, right? Because I've got this giant box of bees just like in the
no heartbreaking
passenger seat with me, And so I put on the full suit, just driving down I-35. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but it's like,
oh my God.
I was thinking like Final Destination type of scenarios where the bees
like if a
escape
cop
and
was to
go
pull
over the
you
median.
over. Like, sir, what is happening right now? What are you on right now?
And have they produced honey for you?
They produced a little honey. So
These are
I was able to pull about maybe a third of a jar this year. I probably invested maybe $700 so far into the hobby, and I've got about $2 worth of honey. Yeah. But it's really not about that, guys. It's about
the
communing. Your passion.
Yeah.
Well, in that way to answer the question, Tim, if you want to know how invested he is in Alamo, honestly, he's doing other things now. Yeah. He's got half a jar of honey.
It's a total autopilot, I don't even go anymore.
When it's gonna happen, the band's gonna make it. That's like your bee obsession. We normally end with a certain segment, but I want to ask really quickly about Fantastic Fest because this is one of the few things I have not partaken in, but I know a lot of people.
You got to go
here.
next year.
No, everybody says it's the most amazing thing. There's special screenings. You walk into a theater, you don't even know what you're going to see. Like, again, where did it come from, and like how did you get that phenomenon where people come and directors and writers and actors from all over just to be
Bruce Campbell told us about
that's
that.
What I'm saying. Everybody wants to go to this.
Well, there's something that you should know about me is that if you dare me to do something, I'll generally do it. It's always been that way, and it's no joke. And so 2002, my wife and I went on vacation, and this is very telling, I think. We went on vacation to the TheCHIVE Film Festival in Spain, which is the oldest horror, science fiction, fantasy film festival in the world. It's been over 50 years.
Yes, and it also houses it's a shithole, in my opinion. Have you been there?
To the festival?
Yeah,
or the town?
Yeah. It's just weird. It's a throwback, man. I went there looking for a vacation, and I saw the remnants of the festival that you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So you were just there.
I was there the week after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it had become
like Mardi Gras the next couple days.
It was just a landfill.
Yeah.
But
during that week, it's beautiful. So I had a great time, and I got exposed to a lot more weird international movies than I had access to in Austin, and just made a pact then in 2002. At some point, I want to do this. I want to bring this back to Austin. And then a friend of mine, Tim McCanley's, who is the screenwriter for Iron Giant, he lives here in town.
Yeah.
He called a random meeting, and I think I had told him years ago how much I liked that festival. And he says, all right, here's my proposition. I'm tired of waiting. You sort of abstractly said sometime you're going to do this. if you do it, if you build this festival for the first year, if you lose any money, I'll just write you a check, no questions asked, no audit for what you lost. So get off your ass and do it already.
Jesus.
He kind of double dog dared me, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. And it's just evolved into this weird party.
Oh, and it's like, what, 8 days of just movies after movie and all these, I
want to throw a weird party where someone says, look, the downside doesn't exist
Doesn't
anymore.
exist, yeah.
It's a get weird,
good offer.
man.
Yeah.
I'm like, how weird do you want this to get?
So the signature party of Fantastic Fest, which I cordially invite you guys to participate in next year.
I mean,
I'm glad you said it before knowing what it is. So it's called the Fantastic Debates. And so filmmakers, journalists, just people in the industry, they have a formal debate, like a high school debate, back and forth. But after the back and forth rounds are done, the debate is actually taking place inside of a boxing ring, and everybody's got headgear and gloves. And so the final 2 rounds are 2 rounds of full-on boxing.
I'm going to get Tim TKO Kennedy to fill in for me here.
Tim, if you're listening.
UFC badass. I'll just have him be my guy.
Wow, we just signed up. We just made a huge mistake.
Terrible. You do not want me out there.
I'll show you some videos of some slow motion bloody noses.
You know what? Fine. I'm in. I want to hit things.
I'm putting in a stunt cock. He's going to be somebody who looks just like me. A short, stocky guy. And he's going to be
TKO Kennedy. You look alike.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
short.
He'll dress like me.
We usually end these segments with something called the Postapocalyptic Questions. We always ask the same questions, and for you, they are more relevant than ever.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited.
I think you'll do well with these.
Yeah.
I think you'll like them. But again, just to get you in the mindset, it's a world befallen some sort of tragedy. It's leaving
Seen some movies.
Yeah, right.
Where we are.
You know the references. You're the lone man standing. No one else. So it's lonely, dire times, not the happiest of places to be. So the first question, sort of the easiest one, is if you had one movie to watch on DVD or VHS if you prefer only, what movie would you choose to watch for the rest of your days? I'm not even saying your favorite. I'm saying it's just something like candy. You could just watch it 1,000,000 times.
Well, it is probably a cliched answer, but I will go ahead with my first instinct that went into my head, and I would say The Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
It's like catnip for me. If I see it on, I just like,
You're right.
Oh yeah.
At any part of the movie, you're just like, and I'm in, I'm in. Yeah.
When the THIVE first got successful in Venice Beach, we went to Lebowski's apartments, which are right off Washington.
Yeah.
And we tried to buy them. That was like what we wanted to do.
It was a serious
My brother
thing.
and I had no inclination to like go out and buy a Ferrari at all. Like we were like, what can we buy? Leo was like, well, let's try to get Lebowski's apartment.
And work out of it.
Yeah, and we were going to make it an office.
Yeah.
Incidentally, it is still rent controlled. They're all paying, all the residents in there are still paying probably $550, $600 a month. And the more we got into the process, the more bad and terrible a person I felt. Like, oh my God, I shouldn't be the 1%. This is bad. I was trying to like maintain that we were going to rent it out.
Yeah.
Put the rug back in.
Yeah.
And then the city was like, no, wouldn't the Lebowski want this, or just to have it be rent controlled for nice people in Venice? And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy the Ferrari now.
Because this belongs to the people.
This belongs to the people.
Although if you were to, not put any signage up, but just leave the door open and have it meticulously recreated, just to be this sort of surprise
what we were gonna do.
museum. Oh my, I don't know. Screw the rent control. You should do that.
Yeah.
I know. That we did get to go inside the apartment. It was kind of sad because it didn't look anything like it.
It's like Astoria, Oregon. I always want to see the Goonies house, but they stopped letting people in because they used to let you walk right up to the house. And so I'm going to Portland for Christmas. I'm like,
You can still
I think
walk
I
up
still
there.
go
Yeah,
see it.
I've
How are they going
visited
to
the
stop
Goonies
it?
house.
You did? I totally want to do it. I was like, oh, it's my dream.
See the truffle shuffle at the gate, get it out of your system,
Oh,
and
God.
move on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We need some footage of that. I'll try to make it happen.
You
All
better.
right, it's a goal. Second question, the silly question is, let's just say there happens to be one other woman on the planet, and the missus didn't make it, but her dying breath was, you need to carry on the legacy. And who is someone to be a torchbearer, a perfect prototypical woman?
This is through space and time.
Yeah, anybody, and it's just...
Does she still have to be of childbearing age?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
so some
No.
sort of magical component.
Yeah,
that I've
just
got.
No.
perfect
Yeah.
stock of kid you'd get from this woman.
Mine's Eleanor Roosevelt, so
Yeah.
she's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to go straight to where my head wandered, and I'll go with Tilda Swinton.
Oh, super smart.
That's a really good choice.
Beautiful.
She's much smarter than me, I'm sure. She
Absolutely.
seems like a firecracker. I don't know her at all, but it seems like she would be good breeding stock, I suppose. That's really not a polite thing to say.
No,
is it?
that's the point of the question.
that
Is you got to address that. That's why we took Serena Williams right
I think
off
our
the
children
table.
would be very ugly, but that's okay. I mean, I'm just
You know-
I think she should have somebody that's not pale and that, to kind of mix. And
Yeah.
but not that she's beautiful, but
She's beautiful. She's gonna be
it's
beautiful.
me,
pale.
my bad, soiled DNA. But I'm part of the equation. But
So that you would have been perfect. It was his fault, not yours. Third and final question. Let's just say in your solitude, you're starting to hallucinate a little bit, and you start to think about having a conversation, and it can be with one person, any person throughout time, now or forever ago. Who is somebody you've always wanted to sit down and have a talk with?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, that's such a good one. And so current.
I'm just not taking any time to think. I don't know why that popped into my
He's
head.
the
but
highest paid man. He has come from
he seems fun.
No one respected him as like anything more than this wrestler, beefcake actor, and now he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Fucking good.
That's a great call.
And he seems fun.
Oh, man.
I figure we could hang out for a little bit afterwards.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
He's a good guy. Tim Lee, one of the main reason we want to have you here, we don't just celebrate all of your locations, but we know from firsthand starting our own thing how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. It's something that you really got to work hard at, and frankly, you have to hustle really hard for the first few years before you break big. And we have a lot of respect for you as an entrepreneur, and I don't know if you take the time to just be proud of yourself for a second, but we're certainly proud of you here, and I know the city of Austin is as well. Check out Fantastic Fest, and thanks to all the millions of drivers that tune in to hear us ramble. You can check us out on Podcast One every Thursday, podcastone.com.
And it's at Tim Alamo is your Twitter handle. Obviously, Alamo Drafthouse. Just see if there's one nearby. They're growing all over the place. I'm sure there might be, if you're really lucky, one worth driving up to. Is there anything else? I mean, there was something, this barrel thing that.
Oh yeah. So
can you tease this?
Sure. We do always open up a bar these days with the theater, and I don't like to open up the same thing. So this one, it's called the Barrel O Fun. And so during the day, we're right next to the Children's Museum. And so during the day, it's a space that's going to be friendly. It's like carnival themed. It's actually got functioning carnival games like, we toss the beanbags and things like that. But then at happy hour time, the REL on the Barrel of Fun fritzes out, and it gets a little bit more sinister and becomes the Bar O Fun. And, so the carnival games like rise up, and then behind it is this vast array of craft beer and liquor. And so
only you could craft a multi-use space for children and drunks.
and degenerates.
Kids would be like, "What's that funny smell in here?" I only hear that when Daddy comes around.
Daddy's cough syrup, honey. Leave it alone. Tim, thank you for coming in. I know you've got a premiere to get to, and we couldn't appreciate this more.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you so much.